All right, what's up, guys? I'm Jonathan White. I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can magnetize your ideal life. So, thanks for joining me today. Another episode of Sexual Mastery. Today, I'm going to be talking about how semen retention can help you to boost your sexual performance. So, stick around, I'll be getting into that. First of all, I want to mention that I'm teaching a free webinar this weekend with my good friend Nikula Das. We're going to teach you how to turn your sex drive into success in your life. So, we all have this enormous sex drive, and it drives us to do all kinds of things, maybe look at porn or hook up with, random people or masturbate for hours a day. But what if you could turn that power into something more productive in your life? So that is going to be the focus of the webinar, how to turn your sex drive into success. So people on Instagram, you can sign up for that through the link in my bio. On YouTube, there's a link in my recent video. So check that out. And that's a free webinar this weekend. So semen retention helps you to boost your sexual performance. A lot of men in this world are running on depletion mode and they don't even realize it. And it's taking a toll on their sex life. It's taking a toll really on every area of their life, but I'm going to be focused on sexual performance today. So a very large percentage of men ejaculate during sex within a few minutes of penetration. Statistically worldwide, most men last about 4 minutes during sex. So it's not very long. And it's certainly not long enough for women to become orgasmic and to experience pleasure from sex. So men tend to fall short in the bedroom, basically. And there's many reasons for this, but an important thing to realize here is that for men, orgasm and ejaculation are not the same thing. They can be separated. And a lot of men completely associate, the ejaculatory orgasm as being the only thing that there is to experience, right? Is like, oh, this ejaculatory orgasm, that's it. This 10 seconds of intense, spasming in my genitals, and then I'm limp, but you can separate orgasm from ejaculation, have much, much better orgasm. Hey, Trey, what's going on, brother? Have much more deep sexual experience without depleting yourself in the end. And this is where semen retention comes in. So many men become so addicted to this ejaculatory orgasm, a lot of men get hooked on this instant gratification, porn. Porn cultures has been so influential on us men in the modern world. It's like that instant gratification. You click on a video, you get that dopamine rush, you jerk one off, and then what then? You feel like shit afterwards. But it's that I need a hit of feeling good right now. Men get hooked on that. And the same thing with ejaculatory orgasm. You start having sex, and then for me personally, I remember during sex I would just within a few minutes, I never used to last very long during sex because, I didn't really understand the mechanics of lasting longer. And so I would start to get that tingle like, ejaculation's near. And I would just go for it, be like, ooh, it's going to feel really good. And I would just go for it. And I didn't realize how much I was missing out on by just rushing right into that point of ejaculatory orgasm. And then afterwards, after that 10 to 15 seconds of intense, spasming, intense, short-lived orgasm, I felt unmotivated the rest of the day. I felt tired. Sometimes I felt depressed. So that's the ejaculatory orgasm. And we get so fixated on that. It's that instant gratification that falls short in the long run. So when you start to step away, start to release this addiction to ejaculating every time you have sex, completely changes your whole world. You no longer become focused on this 10-second peak of orgasm. You start to experience more deeper states of orgasm, deeper states of full body orgasm. And the whole sexual act can become this long, very powerful orgasmic experience for you. And the key thing to realize here is that for so many men, the ejaculatory orgasm is addictive because it's a release. It's a release of their energy. It's like they have this sexual tension, they have all the stress, and after ejaculating, it's released, it's gone. They release the energy. And so you get into this pattern of release. And the thing with the non-ejaculatory orgasm is there's no release. And some men overlook this because it's like, well, I don't have that same sort of feeling of contentment that I have, where I no longer have sexual desire as I do as I ejaculate. Because when you have an internal orgasm, there's no release of energy. It just builds and it builds. So you don't feel that drop off in your arousal. It just keeps building and building. And but this can be a very beneficial thing because you can keep going and going. You just keep building and building your energy. So practicing semen retention helps men to basically build their energy back up. as I said before, most men in this world are running on depletion, and this shows up as sexual dysfunctions. It shows up as erectile dysfunction, inability to last long during sex, inability to sustain an erection during sex because they're depleted. Their batteries are running on low, and constantly ejaculating is one of the factors to this. In Chinese medicine, semen is considered an aspect of your jing. Jing, Jing, is your physical essence. It's like this raw energy, this raw life force. And you only have this certain amount of jing. You can get more by doing certain practices and eating certain foods, but most people don't do that. So they just have this limited supply of jing. When you ejaculate, you're basically throwing away this energy, and it's a finite supply. It dries up eventually. So this is why men run into depletion from constantly ejaculating. So practicing semen retention in and itself really, really rebuilds your core energy. It rebuilds your kidney energy. Kidneys are responsible for all the hormones, the fluids in the body. So by retaining your semen, you're building up this essence. You're building up all this sexual charge. And now your sexual vitality increases significantly. Especially older men find that when they stop constantly ejaculating, they're able to sustain erections like they could when they were younger. They're able to get back their libido, get back their sex drive, because you build up your hormones, you build up this sexual power. And when you do the training to control, separate orgasm from ejaculating during sex, then you never have that point of ejaculation where, you release your energy and then you have to recover. And so this turns you into a masterful lover, because again, you're not fixated on getting to ejaculation and then sex is over. You can now keep going for as long as you want. So now you can bring your partner a lot more pleasure, and you also bring yourself a lot more fulfillment and pleasure as well. From my experience, the pattern of ejaculating, it's not fulfilling. It's like, again, it's that short-lived 10-second orgasm, and it really just it leaves you wanting more, but you can't because you're limp. You have to recover. And so it's kind of this vicious cycle of depleting your energy. The approach of retaining your semen during sex, having, these long lovemaking sessions that can last hours, and you're having orgasm after orgasm, it becomes much more fulfilling because you connect deeply to your partner. You don't have that drop off in hormones, that drop off in energy after ejaculating, where you just want to kind of crawl up into a corner and fall asleep. You feel great. You feel energized. You feel connected. Your heart opens, and you become a very masterful lover, basically. So, so just kind of sum it up, men are often so addicted to this instant gratification, from watching porn, and they go into sex, just trying to instantly get to this peak orgasm that just drains them in the long run. So when you can retrain yourself to delay gratification, to build up your semen, and to experience a new way of making love, it completely changes your whole life. And again, you become a much more masterful lover, and you can fulfill yourself and your partner much better. So there's some questions. I'm going to answer some questions right now. What's the best cycle to start? 1 week. Good question. For someone who's been, let's say you've been masturbating, 5 or 6 times a day for the past several years, it may not be realistic for you to go months at a time, or like a month or two. So start with a few days even. That could be a major accomplishment. And start with a week, then go up to 2 weeks, and go up to a month. Just see how you feel. So, don't try to go too far too fast. Don't feel like, don't set yourself up to fail, basically. Just set, small goals and then increase on them as you meet them. I have much better control of ejaculation from practicing retention. Excellent. Another thing I need to mention here is that for some men, retention can actually increase premature ejaculation, because when you're practicing retention, you're building up all this energy. And if you're not doing anything to move this energy, which is why, the sexual kung fu system is of having practices where you're constantly moving this energy through the energy channels of the body, the microcosmic orbit. You bring the sexual energy up to nourish the higher centers of the body. When you're not doing this, then all this energy can just get stagnant in your balls, basically. You'll experience blue balls. You'll probably feel frustrated and irritable. And when you go to have sex, you're basically a loaded gun, and you might ejaculate immediately. So this is why, if you're practicing semen retention, it's extremely important to have internal practices where you're circulating the sexual energy throughout your body. Why do I sometimes lose my erection when I stand up? I have a strong PC muscle. So the PC muscle, you want to have a strong IC muscle actually for erections. The IC really helps to have more blood flowing into the penis. So look that up. This is kind of a new development in my understanding as well. There's many reasons for losing your erection if you're standing up. There can be many factors to this. So I'm just going to answer some questions right now. Fourth day here, all I think about is boobs. Yeah, you need to keep yourself busy, find new things to keep yourself occupied with other than thinking about boobs. What's the breathing technique when you're at the peak and retain that stimulation? There's many different techniques. I teach this stuff in depth in my 6-week course, but basically you can use deep belly breathing. Keep yourself relaxed and avoid going over the edge. You'll find that your breathing rate and your arousal are very intertwined. As you start to reach very high levels of arousal, reaching close to the point of ejaculation, you'll tend to breathe really shallow breaths. So keeping your breath deep and slow is very helpful for avoiding going over the edge. Is it important to have morning wood every day? Well, it's definitely an indication of your health, your sexual vitality. If you never have erections, in the middle of the night or the morning, then it can mean that you're a little bit depleted. So it is a sign of sexual vitality and well-being, having those morning erections. What is testicle breathing? It's a practice where you breathe the sexual energy from the testicles through the microcosm orbit or other pathways of the body. So it's the act of bringing that sexual energy upward in the body, basically, is the testicle breathing exercise. And it fits in this question. What's the best exercise one can do as they are non-sexual but retaining their semen? Testicle breathing practice, as I just mentioned, which is basically just breathing from your balls, breathing up the microcosmic orbit to different areas of the body. But a good foundation for that is doing the microcosmic orbit meditation. I have a guided practice of that on my YouTube channel. I also have a playlist on Qigong practices and breathing practices. Those are extremely helpful when you're practicing retention to keep that energy flowing. So check those out on my YouTube channel. My thoughts on the 3 months absorbing testosterone, masculinity, semen retention. I'm not sure what you mean by that. You have to clarify that. I have experienced wet dreams after 2 months of retention. Never had them as a teen. Any thoughts? This happened to me as well. I never had wet dreams really ever in my life until I started practicing semen retention. So there's many causes to wet dreams. I won't get into too much right now, but I have a whole playlist on YouTube about wet dreams and how you can prevent them. The basics are: don't get hot at night. Getting hot during the night can cause wet dreams. Having unfulfilled sexual desires through the day, kind of carries over to your sleep, and your subconscious mind says, hey, let's just have an orgasm in our sleep. So there's various reasons. So check out my videos on YouTube about that. Do Wim Hof breathing affect on PC muscle? Are you asking if the Wim Hof breathing affects the PC muscle? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking there. When I do it, I don't feel that vigor and drive like I used to. So I guess my question to you is, how can I feel better on semen retention? So there's many factors to your health, your energy levels, things like that, besides just retaining your semen. Semen retention is a great way to rebuild energy, but it's not a fix all for everything. So what's your diet like? What's your sleep like? Are you stressed? Do you have an exercise routine? Do you meditate? Do you practice internal energy exercises? So all these things are going to have an effect on your energy levels. So you kind of need to look at everything happening in your life and not just try to fix everything with, semen retention. It's a great practice, but, again, it's not going to fix everything for you. I used to get decent streaks of days without watching porn, but after 2 years and many long streaks of nofap, I can't reach a decent streak anymore. Do you have any thoughts on that? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by you can't reach a decent streak anymore. Like you're having trouble going periods of time? It's just a matter of changing the habits that you're doing. If you're used to masturbating every day at a certain time, you need to shift up that pattern, replace that with something new. Start to change your habits in your life. Can you recommend any books related to sexual transmutation? There's some great books. Tao Secrets of Love by Montauk. Tao Secrets of Love: Cultivating Male Sexual Energy by Montauk Chia and Michael Wynn is a classic. Napoleon Hill talks a bit about sexual transmutation in several of his books, but he doesn't really explain how to do it. There's not a whole lot of depth of material about this in books that I've found. It's kind of hard to learn these things from books. Stephen Chang has a book called Tao of Sexology. It's a pretty decent book. How to be in parasympathetic nervous system to control ejaculation. Breathing, deep, slow breathing. Easiest way to get into the parasympathetic state. Also taking a nap. If you're like stressed out, running on caffeine, just overstimulated, in sympathetic mode, take a nap. That'll get you back into the parasympathetic state. I feel this tingling near root chakra. I can do this manually too. Is this a good thing? It's just, your energy. You're just feeling your energy activating there. Unless you're having like a nerve disorder or something, but I would guess it's just your internal energy. So yeah, it's a good thing. Body completely absorbing nutrients on 90 days challenge. What are your thoughts? Are you talking about the body absorbing like the nutrients from the sperm? Yeah, what happens is after you, when you're retaining semen for a period of time, inevitably the semen starts to become old, it matures, and the body reabsorbs the nutrients of that sperm. I had testicular surgery in 2018 that really knocked me down as far as energy levels, and I felt really depressed. I guess the effects of surgery messed up my energy. Yeah, surgery can definitely cause some major, traumas to the body, but you can recover from it. How long did it take you to start seeing changes once you started this journey? Pretty quickly. I first started working with, even before I was doing like semen retention, longer periods of time, even just working with the sexual energy, doing testicle breathing, drawing the sexual energy upwards throughout the body. I saw enormous changes from that, even when I was only going like a few days at a time without ejaculating. All right, just answering questions. Does orgasm not count as edging? I'm not sure what you mean by that. If it's, yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Bro, she didn't hop off and now I feel drained. I think I missed something there, but how long can I go with semen retention without busting if I'm not flowing my energy through my body? It's invariable for it. It's different for every person. Most likely the body might just release in your sleep or something like that. Have a wet dream, so you'll find out how long you can go without it. Does edging mean multi-orgasms? Possibly. If you're able to have orgasms without ejaculating, then yes, edging can mean that, or else it's just staying at a point of high arousal without ejaculating. How can you remove blockages in the microcosmic orbit? Just keep working with the microcosmic orbit meditation, basically. People can be addicted to masturbation and porn, right? Yeah, you can be addicted to anything. So, but yes, porn specifically is extremely addictive for people. Messes with your dopamine receptors. So I'm just answering questions right now. Feel free to send in any questions. Here's a question. How important is practicing Qigong when trying to overcome watching porn? I think it's a very, very helpful practice because it tunes you back into the natural rhythms of your body, the flow of energy, in your body opens up your channels, and you feel really good from your Qigong practice once you get good at it. And for me, that was one of the things that got me out of my porn addiction, was working with the internal energy and getting high naturally. And then I started to become very sensitive to how everything else was affecting me. And I was less likely to do things like watch porn or take drugs or things like that. What herbal supplements help with semen retention? It depends what your goals are, typically when people ask this, they mean like supplements to build up their sexual energy. There's a supplement I like for nourishing kidney yin, which is, your kidneys are producing your sexual energy and your energy levels in general. So it's a herbal kidney yin formula by a company called Dragon Herbs, and it's called Shou Wu formulation, SHOUWU. That's a great one that I take quite frequently for building sexual energy. Maca root, goji berries, Tongkat Ali boosts your testosterone. There's a lot of great herbs. And then there's a different situation though, like where if you're having too much sexual energy, then you would take different herbs, so it depends what your goals are. Do you believe that women can feel your energy when you are withholding it all with semen retention? Yes, definitely. I mean, it boosts your masculine energy, boosts your masculine presence. Women are very intuitive about these things. They can just feel it. Like for instance, I was never able to attract women. I was a really awkward, shy person back in the day. And then I started practicing semen retention. I became very confident in my life, but women started approaching me and like interacting with me. That had never happened before. So there's definitely something to this. And many, many men are reporting this as well. Ashwagandha herb, is that a good one? Yeah, that's a great one. It's a good adaptogen herb. Were you incel before you did semen retention? A bit, like I said, it was harder for me to attract women, back in the day before I started practicing semen retention. Do you ever edge on semen retention? I used it as a tool to develop my ability to have multiple orgasms and to last for long periods of time. So yeah, I have edged on occasion on semen retention. I made a video about this as well on YouTube. How do you avoid super pre-ejaculation during sex or before sex? Are you talking about premature ejaculation? How to control your urges? So this is so again, when you're practicing semen retention, you're building up all this energy, and it's going to really, really increase your desire, for various things, and usually just the things you already have. So if you're in the pattern of, you've been watching porn, you're used to like masturbating porn every day or things like that, then you're going to have huge desires to do that because you have all this sexual energy driving you to do whatever it is that you're attracted to in your life. So the key here is to create new patterns in your life. Start to keep yourself busy. You really have to change who you are, if you want to overcome these old habits. And, it takes work in the beginning. You have to shift up your routine. So let's say you usually get up in the morning, you reach over, grab your phone, start scrolling through porn. then you need to change that habit. Don't turn your phone on in the morning. Get out of bed, take a cold shower, go for a walk outside, or do some breath work, do some qigong, go to the gym, whatever. So you have to like find new things that you're going to do when you have these urges that you used to give into, basically. So you really have to change your life. Have you ever heard of urine flow being affected sometimes during semen retention? No, I haven't really heard of this. I've heard of like some people start to urinate out small amounts of semen on semen retention. How often, if ever, should you ejaculate? It depends what your goals are, depends what you're trying to accomplish. If you like really want to ejaculate, most guys can go, it depends on your age as well, of course. I would say minimum of once a week, maybe even 2 weeks, depending how stressed out you are, how healthy your diet is and things like that. So if you like really want to ejaculate, you could get away with it every couple of weeks without any depletion really. So it just depends what your goals are. Do you incorporate hugging the tree standing meditation, and what's the benefits? Yes. So Zhanzhuan, pole standing meditation postures, that's basically my bread and butter practice. It's like one thing I do every single day. I do 30 to 40 minutes of this practice where you're just holding these static positions, and it's a qigong practice. The benefits are huge. It helps you to release tension from your body, because when you're holding up your arms in these different positions, for long periods of time, pretty soon it becomes pretty obvious where you're holding tension. So it helps you to release these patterns of tension, connect the body as a whole, and most importantly for me, open up the energy channels. You can really cultivate really strong levels of energy in these postures when you have the right internal mechanics going. So it's my favorite practice. Can you drink urine? There's something called urine therapy where you drink your own urine. I can't say too much about this because it's not something I'm into, but I've heard of it. And, it's kind of an Ayurvedic thing as well, drinking your own urine apparently. So I don't know. You can do more research on it if you want. You can have orgasm without ejaculation without using PC muscle. Yes, you can. Definitely. That's the main methods that I teach, actually, is not the tension-based methods, but the more energetic internal drawing methods. Do you sleep on your belly? No, I do not sleep on my belly. I've heard of people having leakage during taking a dump. Why and how to avoid that? I've heard of this as well. I haven't experienced it personally, but I'm not exactly sure what causes this. Maybe it could be like from pressure on the prostate, kind of pushing out some fluid. So I honestly really don't know what causes this. Unless it's like a frequent issue, I wouldn't be too concerned about it. Inevitably some semen will release here and there. Don't obsess too much over it. During your semen retention journey in the beginning, did you have trouble releasing too quick with a girl since all of the sexual energy built up? No, because I was practicing sexual kung fu. When I was single for a long period of time, and I was really going deep into these practices because I wanted to learn how to, last for hours in bed. So I practiced a lot, by myself. And then when I was with a partner, it was quite effortless because I knew, because every day I was meditating, every day I was doing my practice, moving this sexual energy throughout the body. So it wasn't just all built up in my genitals. I was constantly circulating throughout my body, transmuting it and using that energy. So when I did eventually have sex with a partner, it wasn't a problem. I was able to last a long period of time. What if I have a 2-inch cock? Can I still do semen retention? Yeah, if you have testicles and semen, then you can do semen retention. All right, guys, just gonna answer just a few more questions, then I've got to jump off here. You do psychedelics? No, I do not do psychedelics. I don't really do any psychoactive substances, though I did used to take psychedelics in the past. I used to be quite fond of them until I realized they were kind of depleting my energy and that I didn't need them. Do you lose your mind when you have brain orgasm? No, I've experienced some very profound, like expanded states of consciousness, during orgasms that were sent in my brain, but I wouldn't say I lost my mind. What do I do when the energy is unable to circulate? It's just a matter of practicing. You do some practice every day and you get better and better at it. And, not every day is going to be good. Not every day you'll be in control, but it's a sexual kung fu. Kung fu is the development of skill over a period of time. So it's not like, you just all of a sudden you're a master of it. It's a process of learning and understanding. So, you'll have good days and bad days. Just keep doing the practice. Do you get more synchronicities on semen retention? It's hard to say. There's been a lot of synchronicities in my life for a long time. Okay, if I want to last longer in bed, what are the first steps I should take? Get my ejaculation control guide. It's in like my YouTube videos. It's on my Instagram profile. But basically breathing, learning to breathe from your belly, learning to keep your breath slow and calm during sex. That's the foundational training for ejaculation control. I've been practicing the big draw for some days. How many times can I do it daily? It depends. In the beginning, I would only do it a few times and, just see how you react to it. That can really be overheating for some men. I'm teaching different techniques now that are less forceful because that can really like slam a bunch of sexual energy into your head and give you a headache. But, just a few times in the beginning and just see how you can adjust to more and more sexual energy in your brain from there. But I'll always bring it back down to the lower dantian or you'll cook your brain. It's not fun. Is it good rolling your balls massage technique? Yes, testicle massage is great. I do testicle massage every day. It keeps things flowing down there. It improves your hormonal production. So I definitely recommend massaging your testicles. How often do you do live like this? I go live typically once a week, usually Thursdays at around this time. Usually it's around 5:45 Mountain Time in the US here. Okay, guys. I'm going to jump off now. Thanks everyone for joining me. Once again, I'm doing a free webinar this weekend, how to turn your sex drive into success. So definitely check that out. There's a link in my Instagram profile. There's a link in my latest YouTube videos. So it's free. Sign up. That's on Saturday. So check that out. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day. I will see you soon.